Hi, I'm April Davis, and today we're going to be talking about conversation tips for a first date that will ensure a second one. Dating is exciting. It can also be a little nerve-wracking. We become animated over the prospect of getting to know this new person, but end up worrying about boring our date or letting the dialogue run dry. Often, we doubt our own ability to keep the conversation flowing while on a date, especially when dating someone new. These are valid fears because these things can happen if you let them. But you don't have to let them, and you won't have to worry so much about this because we're going to give you a quick class on effective listening, conversation direction, and creating intrigue. Most of the time we are only half listening during a conversation. The other half of our mind is developing what we're going to say next because we are not so much listening as waiting for our turn to talk. This is one of the prime culprits in creating a conversational dead end. Listen. When it becomes your turn to talk, you don't necessarily have to reply or comment on the original conversation topic. Instead, if you are listening, a whole plethora of conversational avenues will reveal themselves. Pay attention to the syntax. There are always keywords being stated that act as the algorithm you need in order to never run out of things to say. The internet refers to evolving conversations as threads, but I like to imagine that someone's dialogue is like a street. There is this principal road you start on, but there are many well-defined markers showing you where you can turn off to travel down a different route. Here's an example of something your date might say. I work in consulting. After college, my friend John and I started helping people we knew with their projects and small businesses in our spare time. Your date just revealed several things about them that you could continue down the exact same conversational avenue related to your date's work, or you can ask them about some of the other things that they mentioned. For example, here are a few conversational avenues that you could take. Where'd you go to college? How long have you known John? Tell me about your adventures together. When you started out just helping people, were you doing it for free? What's it like running your own business? There are dozens of statements or questions that you could ask regarding each one of these conversation markers. And the beauty is, if one dead ends, you can do a U-turn down another road that was previously marked. If you originally diverted down College Avenue and it runs its course, follow up with, so tell me about your relationship with your friend John. Your date won't mind changing gears. These were things that they brought up and it proves that you were actually listening. And now, you are very subtly directing the conversation. Remember, with each new avenue, you can decide whether you are the driver or the passenger, meaning you are taking over and speaking for a minute, or asking a question, then listening. If you pay attention and navigate the conversational markers, not only will you never run out of conversation on a date, but there will be a natural fluidity to the give and take of the dialogue. Okay, so your date's going well, the conversation is flowing naturally, and you really like this new person. So how do you ensure that this person comes back for more, and sooner rather than later? The answer is cliffhangers and open loops. You're going to learn to apply the same tactics that have been used in literature, television, and marketing for years. You see it every day. Television shows ending an episode with you dying to find out what will happen next week. A book chapter ending in a way that leaves you willing to turn the pages, and open-ended clickbait ads on social media that get you to click into some ridiculous website to find out useless information about this celebrity or that. You can incorporate these tactics into your casual conversation to keep the air interesting and your date piqued and intrigued. Whatever cliffhangers you choose, just be sure you'll eventually be able to give a decent answer. Here's a classic example. You say, "I just noticed something quite interesting about you. I wonder if anyone else has ever noticed it." Then change the subject and avoid answering for a while, or after they press the issue, tell them something like, "You know what, I'll tell you on our next date." You can mix it up using a couple of small open-looped cliffhangers to keep the intrigue going. They allow for chances to reopen that loop or avenue in the conversation. Then leave your date with a bigger cliffhanger that will make them eager to see you again. Ultimately, you should be able to ad-lib your own open loops based on the individual and the dating scenario itself. Now you have the tools to become a conversational expert, so there is no need to fear first date dialogue. You can mix it up, use a couple of small open-looped cliffhangers to keep the intrigue going. They allow for chances to reopen that loop or avenue in conversation. You can artfully steer the conversation in a natural and fluid manner and even leave your date hanging on your every word. How about you? Do you have any other tips on conversation? If so, leave them in the comments below. Remember, you can find the love you've always wanted and receive the love you deserve. Now, you just have to take the first steps.